Hello, how are you all? This week's 5 point update. These are the 5 things that I want you to know. I want you to go and take action on, ask me about, do something with. And if you work with me already, you'll be familiar with this format. Comes out once a week. It's 5 things that I want you to get stuck into and do some work on. Maybe I'll be doing work on it too. If we're not working together yet, or if you've just landed on my channel, well, first of all, welcome. Thanks for dropping by. These are the kind of things that maybe the person you're working with should be talking to you about, and maybe if not, go ask them and prod and press and find out if there's something similar that's going on with them that you might need to know about. So the 5 things for this week then. My schedule. You can book lessons with me realistically like 2 years up front, right? That's possible because I know when I'm going to go away. I know I'll go away, for example, the end of February into March and every October into November. And I know that. And I know birthdays and anniversaries and all that baloney. So to some degree, like 2 years up the road, I can pretty much say with some certainty, yeah, I can do a lesson. But I do a year's schedule up front. So every week I publish 1 year's worth of dates that you can have, you can book, and you can plan as far ahead into the future as you want to. I encourage you to do that. You'll never do a lesson you don't need. You can ask anybody I've ever worked with and all the hundreds and hundreds of people that I've worked with. No one would ever tell you they did lessons they didn't need. Because what's in that for me? Like I'm just holding on to someone so they can buy me a speedboat in a tropical island when really I want them past and jumping up and down, loving driving by themselves, and if they're nice and kind enough, telling people that I helped them do it, and then the next person comes in. So it's not in my interests to give you lessons you don't need. It sounds like it would be, but it really isn't. So you can book with confidence for a year or more ahead, and if you don't need them, we won't do them. You know, it's as simple as that. You can always swap them, cancel them. I can trade your date for someone else's date if you're not available, whatever. Better to have them and not need them than need them and you can't get them. That's my advice, always has been. Now, we're rocking up to the point of the year in a university town like we are, where student finance is going to get number crunched, and kids and young adults are going to be moving to a new city. And firstly, this check's going to land, and then they'll have more money than they've ever known. Like, oh my God, I got 10 grand. And it's like, woohoo. And they'll go off and do stuff. And many will buy a ton of driving lessons up front. They'll be messaging the likes of me and saying, oh, I'm moving to Leicester in September. Can you help me with driving? I'm like, yeah. Do the licence, all that. And they'll book 20 hours, 30 hours, 50 hours, 100 hours because they've got all this cash and they don't know what to do with it. And then come like, December, when they've burnt through it all and they're eating pot noodles every day, the cycle repeats when they get their second loan in January. But my lessons will go. It's a fact. It happens every year. Every year. People that are moving to the city with tons of money who want to learn to drive buy up all my time, and I work less hours September till March. So my advice is get in quick, book what you need, book more than you could possibly use, and then just don't do the ones you don't need. Swap them, trade them, whatever. Do that, really. Did you book your own test? If you did, you need to tell me about it. You need to let me know the date, time and location, because I can no longer use a platform in the way I used to at the DVSA, where I could list all my tests because I'm the one that used to buy them for people, and then they'd pay me back. I knew the dates, the times, I could make sure I was free. The system used to make sure that I weren't doing 2 tests at the same time, and all that. So it's in your interest, really it is, to tell me when you've got a test booked. And if you have already, I may even ask you to call in and then add my personal registration number to it. It's not a big change, but it'll then mean it gets listed on my list of tests. And then there's every chance I won't try and double book and do 2 tests at the same time. And importantly, your test is included in that data. So I'd really encourage you to do that. I just had a look at the DVSA's latest batch of data. You can make data say anything you want, right? But here's the fact of it. By and large, across the country, in the last year, the national pass percentage was about 50%. Of people that took a test passed. About 50, about half, right? In the Leicester test centres, it's always been way lower than that. Like, it used to knock around the 30% mark. And that's to say that, 6 in 10 people who take a Leicester test won't pass. About 3 in 10 will, give or take. That's what the data used to say. I've just looked at the data for the last year that's just closed. And this surprised me. The pass percentage in Cannock Street for the year just gone was 40 something percent, like 40.5, 40.7, something like that. That is like way low. Wixton was 51, higher than the national average. Like more people passed who took a test at Wixton than Cannock Street. That never used to be the case. That might mean you have a preference somehow for where you're going to take your test. Personally, I think you should learn to drive everywhere, in any condition, and the test centre should just be a formality. But psychologically, you might think, Jesus, 10% margin, 10% improvement, I'll take my odds there. So that may dictate where you book your test this year. If you want the data, it's hard to read, I'll send it to you, or I'll grab some screen grabs or something and I'll stick them in a little message. But that really surprised me. Here's the one that I was thinking, oh my Christ. Now, I'm fully qualified as a driving instructor. So are my quality driving instructor friends. We all took the 3 tests. We all passed them, a theory test, a driving test and a teaching test. And then every 4 years, if they had the time, they'd call you back in and test you all over again. But they ain't got the time to do it. So many people will go for years and years and years and years and years and never be tested again after having qualified. Now, that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Sometimes instructors that aren't teaching well and have got a few years history of teaching badly, they're just allowed to carry on. Now, you want to be a driving instructor, you have to pass all 3 tests, as I say. Here's the data I've just read, and 28% of people who took, I think less than 28%, just under 28%, under 28% of wannabe driving instructors who took the teaching test in the year that's just closed passed. In other words, 70 something percent didn't pass. Now, a lot of the time, there'll be a trainee driving instructor with a pink badge in their car, pink triangle, charging less money, and they should, because they're not qualified yet, in my view, and they're supposed to be supervised. They're supposed to be supervised some of the time, people watching them, their trainer watching them, so they deliver high quality lessons so that they're teaching in the right way. That don't always happen. So it's always buyer beware, right? In life, buyer beware. So if you're out doing lessons, you may have a trainee driving instructor with a pink badge. They might be good. They might be good, right? But the data says that 70 something percent of them are not going to pass the teaching test. You could be wasting your time and your money by working with someone who maybe isn't going to cut it. And then in a year from now or 2 years from now and you failed 2 tests, you may need rescuing. So don't always go for the cheap person. I know why you would. Don't always go for the person that's immediately available. I know why you would. I'm going to sit here and say that. Of course I am, because I'm qualified. The difference in quality in driving instructors is enormous. Like, enormous. And generally, anyone available tomorrow and can do any day, any time, I'd look into the why. There's sometimes genuine reasons. Now, I'm not knocking all training instructors, right? I'm just telling you what the DVSA's data said. So statistically, so many of you that are working with them may not get the path to success you're hoping for. So you could ask some pertinent questions. You could say, who's your trainer? How often do you meet them? You can ask them honestly and see if they'll tell you. How many tests have you had? How many tests have your candidates had? What's your pass percentage? And see what they say. If they hide that from you, that's suspicious to me. Reviews. Right, so those who've been with me a while. I had Google page for 10 plus years. Every smiley face, test pass, information, how'd you find me, videos, helpful stuff, all sat on Google. Great. And then beginning of this year, March I think it was, they just decided like this, my business didn't exist. And they sent me this little thing that meant, your business don't exist. Prove it exists. Okay, what do you want me to do? And it gave me these things I had to do. Take a picture, get this right, get a video of you opening your car to prove that you've got a learner car and that you can get access to it. Right, done. Take us a photo of your front door. Yep, done. Take us a video of your street name. Done. Show us something that proves you're in business. Invoices, receipts, all that. Done. And they just went, no, your business isn't real. We're closing down your Google page. That was the end of it. I didn't have any complaint page or phone number, email, there's nothing. It's like the computer says no. Like a bot shut my page down or something. So I've tried to rebuild what I've lost, some of what I've lost. So I invited everybody I've worked with or am working with to write their review in their own words about their experience. and many of you did. Thank you. And for the month of July, I'm getting my good friend Rimit, driving instructor, great driving instructor, and he's going to just read the reviews, and in his view, award the one that sings to him, the one that's, the one he thinks, oh my God, that's such a great review. And we're going to give that person a little prize. Now, I'm not buying your reviews. I'm just thanking you for your time. Like you get them surveys through the letterbox, and I'll give you a little prize, and I've got some idea what you might find handy, or I'll donate some money to your charity or something like that, just to say thanks for taking the time to do it. So if you still want to put your review in, you've got the time to do it. And then the last piece, study aids. Now, if you work with me, you know this stuff, right? There's a list. There's 10 things on a list that I say use this stuff. There's nerves management programs. There's highway code. There's apps you can read. There's apps you can do videos on. There's a stack of stuff, right? There's 3 things or 3 books I want you to read. If you want test success, if you want life success, if you want to be in charge in your mind more of the time than you're not, if you want to do your best to eliminate stress, if you want to feel less anxious more of the time, take charge, then you need to read these books. Honestly, you do. Now, you'd think I'm going to pull out the highway code and the traffic signs book and the learning to drive, and they're all good books and you should read them. They are subject specific to cars and all that. Yes, you should read them. Yes, you should. But I've read a stack of books in the last couple of years. I've advocated them, and I've got other people to read them, use them, whatever. And they've come to me afterwards and said, oh my God, that was part of my test success. Because I changed my thinking. I changed how I chose to react to things. I chose to employ option A instead of option B. And it sounds simple, I know it does, but this stuff helps. So the 3 books I encourage you to read. Now, I'm an Audible guy, right? So I download them Audible, listen to them when I go out for my exercise, whatever. Do them in a paper copy, and actually I've probably got paper copies of them. So if these books interest you, drop me a WhatsApp. My number's up there, right? I'll send you a PDF copy, and then you can just knock yourself out and have a go at it. And then maybe if you love it, get it on Audible. I definitely encourage Audible. So the Chimp Paradox by Steve Peters, Professor Steve Peters. That is a brilliant book. It helps you understand stress and anxiety and why you react the way you do, why you fly off the handle, why you say the things you wish you hadn't said, why you might do the things you wish you hadn't done. And it's all about how your mind works and how you can best get it under control. That's going to be gold for driving lessons and driving test day. I can tell you with certainty, with absolute certainty, that changes how you think. And it changed something in my life for the better, and one day I'll tell you about it. I had a massive mental block about something, like proper fear, and I'm talking real top level 10 fear, stress, everything you feel in the car on a lesson. That was me with this thing. I'm being vague, you can talk to me about it when I meet you, but I read that book, I did some other work, and oh my God, did it help. Get it on Audible, ask me for a PDF copy. I promise you, if you throw yourself at that book, it will change everything about how you think, and that will change stress, exams, interviews, first dates, whatever. All right? The next conversation. Jefferson Fisher. Find him on Facebook. He's a Texas lawyer that used to sit in his car and give 2-minute useful help and tips as to how to deal with stuff. A person's treated you like this. Here's what you could say. A person's done this to you. Here's what you can do. This is going on in your work. This is going on in your life. Try this, say this, do this. And it blew up. I mean, the man is massive now on the self-help scene. Again, Audible. It's a great book. The next conversation, buy the book or download the book, read the book. But if you find him on Facebook, Jefferson Fisher, and like with a real person, they put that little star thing, that little blue thing. Go for him and not someone knocking off his stuff, right? Does little videos, and they are massively transformative. They will help you come to a different thinking pattern when you get in situations where you've got to do stuff and you think, what do I say? How do I respond to that? How do I not feel like shit when this person's done this to me? Honestly, read that book. And then the last one I would read, The Let Them Theory. So I came across that by accident, but It really is helpful. Again, I've got it on PDF and you can have a copy of it. Mel Robbins is her name. Again, she's an internet sensation now. Went through some shit in her own life, decided to think and act and be a different person in the way that she responded to it all. And then it worked. And I've used that. I've got other people to use it. And it's just simple. All three of those are mind management gold. If you can throw yourself at them, read them, absorb them, and take on the lessons, I promise you things will change for you. So that's your 5-point update for this week. A bit longer than normal, I'm sorry, but when I get talking I like to say things, and I like to share what I know with you. So I hope you found it helpful. If you have, like and subscribe. There's other stuff you might find. If it's thought-provoking, and even if we don't work together, talk to your driving instructor about some of this. They might go, mind management, what's that? And I'm not surprised if that's true, because not everyone goes to the same level to try to help you. And mind management is the figurative last mile of your driving test success. You can do the highway code to death, and you should. You could do the theory app long after you've passed, and you should. You should get the little playing cards out with the traffic signs on and learn them. Yes, you should. You should take every opportunity to drive a car. Yes, you should. Drive as many cars as you can for experience and clutches and how do they work and why does it bite here and why are the brakes like this. Yes. And why the headlights down here on another car they're up there. Yes, do that. Practice as much as you can with as many people as you can, as long as they're the right person to inspire you and not scream and shout at you and make you feel like shit. Do that. Yes, do that. And that will make you skill ready, knowledge ready, reflex ready. Yes, gold. Do it. But if your mind isn't managed, if your mind is not in tip-top order for as much as you can make it, you may not be successful. Mind management to me is the bit that with learner drivers it's the least invested in by most people. They just tell them to, have a chewing gum and fucking chill the fuck out or something. That ain't gonna cut it, man. If you're an anxious person, if you're neurodiverse, if you've got stress, anxiety, fear in your life, that will not change it. That will. Read that stuff. Tell me, did it work? Thanks. I will see you the next time we're in the car or the next time you're on my channel.